Bonjour relatives, Shangwewe Kamigo Queen Indigenous. I'm Jamie Kellicut, and we are here from HIR Wellness Institute for Emotional Sobriety. I am our Community Engagement and Indigenous Affairs Director, and I'm starting us off with a smudge this morning. And so here is some smudge for you. And we are here with two of our amazing staff members. And I would love it if you both would introduce yourself, and I'm going to pass the baton over to Xavier.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Happy Friday. It is so good to be here. As always, wherever you are, I hope you are having a wonderful day. If you're not having a wonderful day, that is okay. We're here for you. And we hope you can find just a moment to breathe and just connect with us today. Again, my name is Xavier Smart. I am a CARES counselor here at HIR Wellness Institute. And as always, just super happy to be here, happy to share this time with you all. And I'm going to now pass to our wonderful intern, John.
Hi, relatives. My name is John. I am a social work intern, and I'm just so glad to be here this evening. And I'm hoping that everyone joins us tonight. As well as always, we appreciate everyone that joins and comments, just letting us know how you're feeling today. I know it's been raining and gloomy out and cold. So, just feel free to comment and let us know how you're doing. And again, we're all here for you, and we're glad to be here. So thank you so much.
Thank you both. Thank you, Xavier. Thank you, John. Yes, we are here. It is Friday. We are here for emotional sobriety. We are going to be talking about recovery, self-care, things that we connect to. It might be our culture. It might be some different spiritual practices that we do. We'll always meet on Fridays right around this time and spend some moments to be in circle with each other, to have connection with each other, to be able to wrap up our week, to get ready to start our weekend. We know that it's hard. We have a couple things going on right now. We have the pandemic, and it's already hard. Before COVID, it was already difficult. Walking in recovery can be really hard, and it also can be really beautiful. I myself have been walking the red road. I've been in recovery for 6 years from alcohol, and I come here on Fridays with an open heart and an open mind to share some things that I know, things that I've learned along the way, and some of my experience with what I've gone through. And both Xavier and John, they're doing the same thing. They're here so that we can support one another, that we can learn from one another, and have some time together of healing. It's really what we're doing. And we always love to start with a meditation, an elder's meditation. And today, John is going to read us what we have for today. And here's the book that we read out of, Meditations with Native American Elders, The Four Seasons by Don Coyes. Wellbriety has been something that's been very instrumental in my recovery. And I say that only just to let you know that I have some experience with it. I didn't connect to everything. No one ever really does connect to every single thing that you read or see as you're walking your journey. And I would pick and choose the things that really connected to me. I'm very much someone who connects to spirit, and spirit brought me to Wellbriety and brought me to closer to my culture and just to who I am as an individual. So this is a pleasure to be able to share this with all of you. And John, why don't you read for us what is today? Today's the 11th, December 11th. Happy December 11th.
Yes. All right. So for December 11th, the meditation states, peace comes within the souls of men when they have realized their relationship, their oneness with the universe and all its powers, and when they realize that at the center of the universe dwells, uh, let me just, I will try to pronounce it,
Mhm.
Wakantaka, and that the center is really everywhere. It is within each of us, and it's by Black Elk. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, so I'm not going to butcher it. I don't know if you know how to pronounce that, Jamie.
I would probably say He Haka Sapa
Okay.
Oglalasu,
Okay.
but I don't know if that's correct, so I apologize if I didn't say it correctly.
Mm-hmm. And then it says, if we are to know peace, we must look within ourselves.
Mm.
In order to do this, we must learn to be still. We must quiet the mind. We must learn to meditate. Meditation helps us locate and find the center that is within ourselves. The center is where the Great One resides. When we start to look for peace, we need to realize where it is within ourselves. When we experience conflict, we need to pause for a moment and ask the power within ourselves, how do you want me to handle this? What would you suggest I do in this situation? By asking the high power for help, we find peace. Creator, help me find peace.
I love that. I love it. The slowing down, meditating.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier, I really would love to hear what you're thinking right now.
I loved hearing this, and there's just so many layers to it, so many insights and wisdom. But I think being able to, even just as you mentioned, being able to slow down is so important. But this aspect of really connecting with ourselves and being able to look within. Often we try to look for answers outside, and we're like, send me answers, and we want signs and signals, and they really do come, right? But I think if we're able to first kind of go within and allow ourselves to connect with our spirits and connect with what we're feeling and what we're needing, then we can pay better attention, closer attention to those signs and signals that happen, and we're like, ooh, that was a sign, or that was something that I needed. So yeah, being able to just locate and find the center that is within ourselves, I think that's so important, that being able to just feel where that is within our bodies. Where is our center? Often we may have never even heard of that at all. So, relatives, if that's something you've never heard of, think about that for yourselves. Like, how can you find your center? Where is your center in your body? Where do you feel most centered? And just sit with that and allow yourself to feel how that feels for you. So that's just my takeaway from this meditation. Definitely a powerful one, in terms of being able to just look within and really connect with ourselves. So
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Xavier. And I would add to that how difficult it can be to really hear ourselves when we're using substances, like when we're misusing a substance and we are potentially using a substance maybe for there's many reasons, right? But I do see substances as a coping mechanism. It's not a healthy one, but it is a way to cope. And for me, now I'm just going to speak in terms of what I went through. It wasn't until I truly released myself from substances that I was able to sit long enough to start listening, to start hearing my spirit, to start tapping into my surroundings and paying attention to what is my purpose and why am I here. And I think that's a really powerful message to really sit with, because relatives, if you are walking early in recovery, or maybe you are even just thinking about recovery and you're thinking, I want to try something different. I just don't feel right. It doesn't feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, that this is my purpose. If you're having those moments, or if you're struggling at all, I would ask that you just try to put down the substance for a moment, or think back to when, if you are in recovery, what it was like before, when there was the substances in your life, and how different that is today when you just sit and stop and just reflect and take moments. And if you haven't gotten there, that's okay. Relatives, I want you to know it's okay. The fact that you're here today with us, you're sitting here in our circle, even though we can't see each other, you're in our circle. We are together. Even though we can't be physically together, our energies, our spirits, we can feel one another. It's okay. It really is. So I would moments to just sit and reflect. Maybe close your eyes if you're comfortable. Maybe take a few deep breaths and just think. Feel your heartbeat. Where is the heartbeat? Maybe even put your hand there as you're breathing in. And connect. This is you. Connect to who you are. That's a really big one for me, because I think it took me a long time to realize that I wasn't really connecting with who I was. It was pretty blurry. It was pretty blurry for a long time. And it truly took me just stopping and putting them aside and saying, I'm going to break the cycles. I'm going to stop. This is not what I want anymore. This is not what I want for my family. There was already enough hardships and already enough pain that had happened because of it. And so it took that for me to truly sit with and hear and listen to myself and my true spirit. It's not an easy thing. I'm not gonna, sit here and say that just like that overnight everything's beautiful, because it takes time. But you know what? Even if it's a rough day, we can get back up. We can stretch a little. Maybe we need to take a nap, take a walk, smudge ourselves, drink some water or tea. We can try again. We can try again. John, what were you thinking about when you read that?
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Jamie, and also Xavier, for everything. Love the insight.
Yeah.
I agree that, and sometimes it is very difficult to just sit there and reflect. So, it's definitely a skill that you learn over time. And sometimes when you're looking for answers or looking for peace, you may not find it right away. And that's okay. And it's so important to understand that, sometimes just sitting there and taking time to reflect, the answer will come eventually. But it may not always come the time in the second that you may need it. And that's okay. And that's one thing that is so important, is learning to be kind to yourself. And that helps bring in that inner peace within you. And you will figure out the answer eventually. And then I just wanted to read a comment. Jessica Skenador said that she bought the book, the Elder's Meditation book, from Amazon.
Oh, wonderful.
Can't wait to get it.
Yay, that's awesome. Oh, bonjour, Jessica. So glad that you're here with us. That's wonderful. Thank you for commenting and letting us know. I hope you enjoy it. This has truly been a blessing for me. And I've bought in a few of the other books that they have, because Elder Don Coyes has written quite a few different things that have been really pretty eye-opening and helpful for me on my journey. And there's other books out there too, and other resources and websites. And as we move along on these different Fridays, we'll talk about those things. We all have suggestions of different resources that are out there that may be something that connects to you. So I would encourage all of you relatives that, you know what, if you try something and it doesn't work or it doesn't feel right, that's okay. Then get rid of that one. Try another one. There's so many options out there. Generation Red Road is another organization that works with different recovery services and resources, and Xavier and I have both been trained through them. Just another beautiful resource that's out there. And as we talk and go along, we'll be pulling different pieces of things that we've learned along the way, different trainings that we've taken, and different books that we've read, different activities that we've tried. And in fact, one of the books that we're going to be talking about that we'll always mention each week as we move along and get to know each other is this workbook, Maintaining Emotional Sobriety During COVID-19, Transforming Trauma into Post-Traumatic Growth. And this book was written by Tian Dayton. And today we are going to talk about maintaining family, couple, and personal rituals. We'll talk about some of that. We're going to talk about finding a project to do. We might get to talking about healthy diet. We might get to breathing. So we'll see. We'll see how much we get through. But one thing that I want to mention, what we mentioned last week, and we want to say it again, that we know right now we're in a difficult time because of COVID. We're all feeling that. You are not alone. You are not. We're all feeling that. We also want to take a moment to remember that this moment in time is not going to last forever. Mm-hmm. So if we could imagine ourselves putting a box around this time period, or a circle or an oval or something, just put a mental boundary around this moment in time. It is not going to last forever. There was a beginning when it all started. There will be an end. We won't be in this place forever. Sometimes we just need that mental image of a boundary around this time period so that we can say, okay, I know it's rough, but it's not forever. So I just wanted to remind you all of that you're not alone and it's not going to last forever. It won't. It really won't. And Xavier, hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Would you mind, could you read for us about maintaining family? Could you do that?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Maintaining family, couple, and personal rituals. Rituals provide a sense of stability. You know what they are for you. A walk, exercise, a meeting, coffee in the AM, morning meditation, or inspiring reading, sitting down for lunch, nap, family time, you name it. Even choosing a movie to watch together, making popcorn, and cuddling up on the couch can be a reassuring family activity that brings relaxation, pleasure, and calm to everyone.
Yeah. Xavier, would you say that, do you have any rituals that you go through in a day?
Yes. So for myself personally, you know, I'm beginning to find that rituals are super important to me and just help in terms of grounding me, especially during this time of such uncertainty. You know, so for me, I try to at least incorporate deep breathing in the morning and stretching. So as soon as I kind of open my eyes, I try to do some stretching in bed. just as a way to kind of wake my body up, and then really just focus on my breathing, to kind of set that intention for the day, to say, hey, we made it to today, and always take that time to really express gratitude to the creator, gratitude, for another day, another, opportunity to, just live a life full of, uh, just what it needs to be. So, yeah, I definitely have found rituals to be helpful for me during this period. And again, I think with even walking in recovery, those of us that are struggling with substance use, being able to, um incorporate some form of ritual, right, can really be beneficial. Oftentimes, um there's so many different ways we can go about, walking the road of recovery. Some of us may say, hey, I'm gonna abstain completely and just try to, just try not to use at all. But sometimes we need to find replacement behaviors, and I feel, being able to find a ritual can be very beneficial, right? What's one thing that you can do if you notice that, hey, I usually grab a drink every day when I get home from work? What's something that you can replace that ritual with? Is it, going for a walk with your kids, or taking the dog for a walk? Is it, fill in the blank? How can we, um, substitute that ritual that we want to change? So I think that's, just want to put that out there, and bring some insight into that oftentimes we have rituals with the substances that we use, and, being able to reflect on that, and being able to say, like, hey, how can I substitute this ritual for something else, as I continue to walk the red road, continue to walk in recovery. So
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Xavier. Thank you for sharing that.
you're welcome.
John, what about you? How do you feel about, daily rituals and things, and how that can be, connected to recovery?
Yeah, for me personally, my rituals that I try to do it on a regular daily basis is like I try to start off my morning by reading a positive affirmation, because that's a great way to kind of start off your morning just thinking positive. And then
Yeah,
if I feel stressed out throughout the day, I reflect back on that affirmation,
yeah.
and I usually use it on my phone, so I can always just open up my phone and go to that page.
Okay.
So for me, like if I'm start feeling sad or anything, and I need something positive, I just open up my phone and go to that page, and I
Mm.
can actually read the positive affirmation that I found today. I can just
Yeah, that'd be
pull it up
awesome.
really quickly. Yep. So the one that I have for today says, "My day begins and ends with gratitude and joy."
Mm.
So it just makes me think of like, what am I grateful for and some joy.
Yeah.
And it just kind of helps, redirect you to thinking more positively. And also, I try to do mindfulness as well. Like about noon or 1 p.m., I try to do mindfulness just halfway into my day. That's something that I try to practice as much as possible.
Hmm.
And again, mindfulness can just be just by yourself and closing your eyes or opening your eyes and just, thinking positively. Um, and I know that for individuals who struggle with like substance use, like what Xavier said, create a ritual, and also like creating a routine, because routine is so important. Because I
Hmm.
know that for when I used to work with individuals with substance use, oftentimes they lost track of a routine. So just creating that new routine for you is so important. And it's not something that will happen overnight. Start off small, like what Xavier said. Maybe once you come home, your ritual is having a drink. Maybe change that for something else. And then once you gradually get used to that routine, that ritual, you can start changing something else and creating that regular routine for you. So I think
Absolutely.
that's really good for especially individuals who are still using or are in their early stages of recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing, John. Appreciate that. I'm thinking back to when I was early in recovery, and I really, right now, I'm having a moment of, wow, do I wish that there was something like this when I was early in recovery? Because I didn't have a support group necessarily. I chose other avenues. It was like self-help books and like being involved in my work and music and my family. And I'm seeing how there is such a blessing in being able to have a community that you can go to that understands and can walk with you on that journey. Part of my ritual has turned into meditation in the morning. It wasn't always like that, but I used to use music as a way to help me with my daily rituals. And now I find myself using the morning time when I first wake up to be a time of just sitting in silence and meditating and thinking about healing from the inside out. I've been doing a lot of that because change is from within. And that's one thing that I really believe. And I learned that phrase through Wellbriety: change starts from within. And if you really think about that, is like anything that we're trying to change. If it's that we're trying to if we're trying to stop utilizing substances, if we're trying to change our eating habits or um, our thought patterns, how we react to situations, our communication, whatever it is, change starts from within. And so I purposefully and intentionally start my day in quiet, in silence, and I sit with my eyes closed and I think about that statement that changes from within, and I pray. Nature is a big piece of my ritual, laying tobacco, whatever those spiritual practices are for you, relatives, whatever you connect to. If it's smudging, if it's going outside and laying tobacco, maybe it's beading, maybe it's making something with your hands, crafting something, art. Maybe it is music, maybe it is writing, maybe it is journaling, maybe it's cooking, maybe you love to cook, maybe you love to learn and it's taking a class, maybe it's teaching a class, maybe it is spending more time with loved ones. And I know right now that can be hard. Maybe it means making a phone call or a text or doing a Zoom call or a FaceTime. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of options. But just having that schedule, that routine, that ritual that really makes you feel good. And nobody can tell you what that is. We can just give you suggestions. We can tell you about what worked for us and what makes us feel good and happy, but it really comes from you. So it's important to just take some time. What do you like? What do you enjoy? And you know what? It might have been a long time since you've actually thought about that. It might have been a really long time since you've thought about that. And we're here to tell you that you have permission to think about what you like, what you enjoy. It's okay to do. You need to do it. Let's get started. Let's get started. Find out what we like, what we enjoy. The time is now. You are here for a reason. You are here for a reason, and you have gifts, beautiful gifts. You have a spirit inside of you that is just waiting for you to say, come back to me so that we can do the things that we're supposed to be doing. It's a pretty amazing experience. And I'm excited for all of you, actually. I really am. Anytime that we are able to shed some light or a little bit of knowledge about something that might be helpful and beneficial, that's a good day. So I think we could transition over to projects, because that's another helpful way of being able to stay focused, to find some calm during this time of COVID, to continue on the red road with your recovery. How are we doing with comments, John? Are there any comments?
I haven't seen any comments so far.
Okay. Relatives, if you're out there and you want to say anything to us, let us know anything, how you're feeling, please do leave a comment. John is moderating for us, so he's kind of paying attention to two things. He's here with us, and he's also watching the comment section. So don't worry, John is with us.
Yeah.
He is with us. He is
You
just,
see my eyes moving.
yeah.
That's
He's
why.
here. Okay, so the find a project. I'll read this next section here in our workbook. Engaging in a project that is a bit challenging but not too hard can help you enter what, Mahali. It's a long one, and I'm not sure if I'll say it correctly. Mahali Csikszentmihalyi researched and calls a flow state. Flow states, whether painting, golf, cleaning, writing, scrapbooking, etc., leave you feeling more whole, relaxed, and integrated. They both stabilize and elevate your inner state. Do things that give you a sense of agency and control. Clean a cupboard, create something, journal, sew, do woodworking. Relatives, are there any things that you do, any projects that you like involving yourself in, or do you have any self-care practices that you really like to do on a daily basis? We would love, love, love to hear about them. Let us know what you're thinking. Right now, we're talking about what are some of those things that we can do while we're walking in recovery, and we're in this moment in time of COVID. How do we still take care of ourselves? How do we kind of change it up so that maybe we're not thinking so much about the negative? One of those ways is finding a project. And maybe you haven't thought about that in a while either. Maybe there are some things that you really love to do, but you just haven't taken the time. It's okay. Is it something that maybe you'd want to pick up and try again? Xavier, do you have any projects that you let? Well, I know you are very gifted. Tell us a little bit about your projects.
So I loved this find a project aspect, and how it talks about getting into a flow state, and how, whatever it may be, it leaves us feeling more whole, relaxed, and integrated, and how it stabilizes and elevate our inner state. I think that's so profound, and just so important to just take a look at that and sit with that, and even reflect, relatives. Like, think about some of the things that you even do now, right? If you someone, whenever you're cleaning up the house, washing the dishes, or sweeping or vacuuming, right? Like, things like that there's almost this sense of like calmness that just kind of takes over, and you're like, oh, kind of feel better. And I think that's just super cool to see that. For me personally, I do have a few things that I gravitate towards. One being my card readings that I brought in last week, right? So that's something that just allows me to kind of really ground myself, brings me into a state of oneness, a state of like inner peace and connectedness. Another thing that I have recently just kind of started maybe 2 months ago is like creating a skincare routine. So before I go to bed, I'm like washing my face and exfoliating if I need to, and you just feel so much better. I'm like, ooh, look, my skin's glowing. I feel great. So, it's just one way too that we can just take care of our bodies in that way, and finding new things that you're like, I never thought about that. Like, let's give this a try. And just see where it goes, where it takes you. And that also helps to, again, really create a mental boundary between, this whole COVID and pandemic and the uncertainty. It helps to create that boundary and bring you back once again to the present moment, relatives. Because I know for me that's again, these projects that I take on have really been beneficial in helping me kind of just stay in the moment, stay present, and even with um, my own personal struggles with substances, right? Finding different projects have really helped me to, substitute, like, oh, I can do this instead. And have allowed me to, like we talked about earlier, just be in a more clear state, in a more clear aspect where I can tune into my inner voice, and my inner voice is, hey, you should try this project, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's try it and see how it goes. So so those are things that I've gravitated towards, and that have helped me to reach a flow state, and that have helped me to just really take care of myself in that way. And again, relatives, these are there's things out there that work for each and every one of us. We're all different, we're all unique, we all carry our own unique sets of gifts and ideas. So just continue to pay attention to those things that pop up for you, or patterns that that pop up, because it may be a gift that you have that you haven't been able to tune in, or that you've been ignoring. And just see where it takes you, because you never know what could happen with it. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Xavier.
Welcome.
And you also are an amazing photographer. I was thinking about that too. Is that is that something that helps you in challenging times, or anything like that?
Yes, absolutely. Photography definitely does help me to really just be grounded, and it gets me in this state of like, I'm here, I'm in the present moment, right? Being able to see an object and say like, ooh, I find it, there's something about it that is gravitating, or that makes me gravitate towards it. And being able to take a picture of it, right? I love taking pictures of nature. So being able to take pictures of trees and animals if they're out, right? Can just help build that connection with them, and that oneness, like, I see you, see me over here, doing my thing.
Yeah.
So it's something that really allows me to get into a flow state, and helps me really set again this mental boundary of everything that's going on, right? I can socially distant, do photography with a mask on, and just kind of use that time as a way to even just, express gratitude, and meditate and breathe. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Xavier. Thank you. And when you were first talking about, I do love the flow state. That's just like, I think any artist or anyone who creates anything can relate to that, where it's like there is this thing that happens where you're just connected to something other than whatever else is happening in the moment. And it is a state of flow that's you just can't really describe other than that way. And that can happen so many different ways. I was even thinking about it. I remember meeting a woman once who said that chopping vegetables was her way that was like soothing to her, that she really enjoyed. She loved cooking, and she loved making soups and stews and things. And even something like that, taking vegetables and being able to chop them. The sense, I imagine that there's a pattern, that there is rhythm to that. So that is helping us in another way too, that I wouldn't be able to necessarily explain, but I know that there's something happening with our brain and our chemistry when we are experiencing those rhythms. So it can be almost anything, really, if you think about it. And we all would love to hear, what is your project? What is it that you love to do? What do you gravitate towards? Those are the things that are important to think about. We come together every Friday to talk about emotional sobriety. And this is really about you, relatives. This is about, what are you sitting with right now? What is connecting to you right now? What are you feeling? What is it that you do that helps you through those tough times? Because you know what? If it helps you, it will absolutely help somebody else, for sure. And if there's something that's sitting with you and tugging at you and you're thinking, I'd really like to say this right now, but I'm not sure, I'm kind of scared. It's okay. We're all family here. It's okay. If you're thinking it, somebody else is probably thinking it too. So let's learn from each other. Let's have a conversation.
I just wanted to read a quick comment.
Yes,
from,
please do.
Gwen Carl. She said, I am beating a vest for my brother.
Oh, bonjour. Oh my goodness. Gwen, thank you for sharing that. Miigwech. That's beautiful. When you're done with it, you're going to have to share a picture.
Yeah.
What'd you say, John?
I'm sure he'll be very happy with it.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. That's amazing. And that's one of those things. There's a project, beating a vest for your brother. And that rhythm of the beadwork and the feeling that you have with picking up the beads, all of that is soothing and healing. That's self-care. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. There's a couple things that I don't want us to miss. One is that tomorrow is a very special day, and our very own Xavier is coming to a close of a time in his life, and he has worked really hard, and he has spent countless hours and time in books and studying and exams and presentations and internship and all of it. And tomorrow he is graduating. And I want to recognize you right now, Xavier, because you are just a blessing for our community, for our relatives, for our team. And it's been, such a joy working with you and learning you and getting to know you and just collaborating with you and having your support has just been amazing. And so thank you. Chimigwech. So many thanks to you for just being the human that you are and the spirit that you are. I'm reminded all the time that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and you make both of them amazing. You're just a wonderful, wonderful person. So thank you so much, and so proud of you and all the work that you have done for our organization, for our relatives, our elders. Xavier is one of the facilitators with Malia Chow for our Elders Book Club, and the elders just absolutely adore him, and we're just so proud of the work and so proud of your growth. And I want to say this too, because not everybody knows this, but I am one of the directors for the Native Girls Lacrosse camp that we had a couple years ago. Well, it would have been last year. No, year before, last year. I don't know. COVID. I have no idea where
Yeah,
we're at
no
with
idea.
time. It's fine. But that particular camp, it was the first time that myself and my husband and children and our friends, they helped, and we had volunteers from the community and the school, Indian Community School. And that was our first one that we did. And Leah Denny brought she came and helped. She brought some of her interns and some of the Daughters of Tradition. I think it was ambassadors at the time, I think, but it was young ladies that she had worked with through the Daughters of Tradition. And that was the very first time that I ever met Xavier. And Xavier you were just a shining bright light of amazingness. You really were. And you had such a great spirit, and still to this day. And so just thank you. You've been just such a pleasure to work with and alongside. And I can't say enough about your amazingness. And I wanted to make sure that our relatives hear that too. And so I know that there's people out there watching, and I am certain, have worked with you or have received help from you, and they are smiling. They're smiling, and their spirits are sending you lots of good love and energy right now. So just really proud of you for all of your work. So thank you. You did it. Woo woo.
Thank you, Jamie, for your kind words. As always, I'm definitely just overfilled with so much joy and gratitude, processing it all, embracing the moment, and just sitting with it. So thank you all. And I truly do love the work that we do here at HIR, and just working with each and every one of you relatives. I am so passionate about what we do and being able to bring healing to you all through this way, being able to, connect with you all and show you all that, hey, although we have degrees and we're considered these experts, we're not experts.
Right.
But we're here with you all, and we experience life, in the same way that you all do, and we're navigating and working through it as well. So I'm just really grateful to be able to just for being authentic in the work that we do, and being able to bring my authenticity to the table in a way that is accepted and appreciated. So I definitely am just forever grateful to continue learning. Learning doesn't stop. So continuously grateful for that opportunity to learn, not only from the people that I'm working with here, from the staff and coworkers, but also from you all relatives. I learn from each and every one of you that I work with, and I'm so grateful for that. The reciprocity for us to learn from each other and continuing to grow with you all. So thank you all. Thank you, Jamie, John, everyone. So many names, so many people. So yes, I appreciate each and every one of you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Xavier. And you know what? We said, I think it was the week before last, I let you all know that we're going to end our sessions with one of us will express our gift. We will share our gift with you. And this week, John, he is up and he's going to share his gifts with us, one of his gifts. And I'm so looking forward to it. And John, are you feeling ready to share your gift with us?
Yes, I am ready. And
Awesome.
Relatives, I will also post my poem that I wrote into the comment section, so you can always go back and read it as well.
Thank you.
So for today, what I chose is poetry, because that's something that I enjoy writing, and it just really helps me process my thoughts. And what I usually do is I start off by writing on a piece of paper just how I'm feeling today, um, and then from there I like to transfer it onto my computer just so I can have a copy with me at all time. Because what I love about it is that you can always reflect back on your poetry, or whether it's journaling, and you can really get to see your growth. So for today, I will be reading one of my poetry when I was roughly around 15 or 16 years old. And then I will also be reading an updated version of the poetry. So like a 2.0 version, a updated version of
Awesome.
how I am feeling now, and just kind of reflecting back on just, wow, the difference, the growth. Um, so let me just pull it up really quickly.
And by the way, John, I want to say thank you for your vulnerability, and you too, Xavier. Really, for us, when we come into circle like this, that's a huge part of the healing together, right? Is that we're able to open up a little bit, and share a little bit of our story, our sacred story. We all have one. We all have a sacred story. So just thank you, and thank you, relatives. When you open up and share with us, you are teaching us, you are helping us just as much as it's helping you. It's really appreciated. I'm so excited I want to call this like gift hour or something. I don't know. So exciting.
And just before I get started, I just wanted to let you know, relatives, that again, I'm no expert at writing poetry or anything. It's just my way of expressing it, and there's no right or wrong way. And it's your story, and it's how you're feeling at the moment, and just write that down. So there's no structure. If you feel like you want to section it off into little paragraphs, you can. You choose to. You can do that. So it's just however you want to. I'm not an expert. I just write it however it feels at the moment, and I just go with that. And just as I'm reading it, there may be some grammar issues or stuff along the way, but one thing that I believe is that even if I made a grammatical error or anything that may sound off, I feel like that's my flaw, and I accept my flaw, and I don't want to change that, because it's okay to not be perfect, because I'm not perfect. No one's perfect.
Yeah, that's right.
So I just wanted to keep all of it at that very moment. That's how I felt, and that's what I wrote down. So I just kept it that way.
That sounds great.
All right. So for me, I put a title to my poem. I titled it "The Path I Chose." So I will begin reading it. So it states, "The path I chose was a lonely one. Never talked or spoke much. Wanted answers, but was afraid to ask. Wanted friends, but too shy. So many things I want to happen, just couldn't make it happen. Growing up, I followed what others said. Now that I'm older, I know I should follow my heart and not theirs. Always found myself around people that put me down. Only place I feel happy is when I'm away from home. I always forgave people. I believe it wouldn't take me anywhere but bring me down. Still haven't learned to thank people. Wish I could have the courage to speak, but it's so hard when you're filled with fear. The path I chose was a lonely one. Coming home alone, going to school alone, everything alone. Wanted people to take notice of my presence, but I seem unknown. Trying to change my old ways. Over the years, I've noticed a change. Now I can't try to let the world stop me. I got to overcome this insecurity inside. I just hope I can leave this world happily." So this
That's
This
beautiful.
poem was written when I was roughly 15 or 16. I was going through just a very depressed stage of just kind of like finding out who I am and just, figuring out my truth.
Mhm.
So it was a very difficult patch and difficult time. I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone. I didn't really have much support from families and stuff like that. So this was my escape. If no one could hear me, I can write it out. And at least
Yeah.
I can hear myself out loud. So
Thank you
again,
for sharing that. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is like my second time, I believe, reading it out loud to people. So
Wow.
again, every single time it's hard because it brings back old memories.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
And then the second one that I would be reading is like an updated version. And I also titled it The Path I Chose, but I put 2.0. So it's an updated version.
Nice.
So I will be posting that one as well. So it states, the path I chose is the perfect one. I never spoke much, but I have learned. Never asked questions, but now I do. Surround myself with positive people. So many missed opportunities, but it's okay. Life is not perfect, but it's perfect for me. Others may judge me and tell me I'm not enough. Their voices don't bother me anymore because I am enough. I have learned to forgive myself and others because no one else can. I have a choice and will continue to live my truth. I am not perfect. I am flawed and scarred. Over time, these scars have healed, but these scars are here to stay. So am I. The path I chose is a wonderful one. I have no regrets in life. Learned to love my past, follow my heart, not others. I know I will leave this world happily.
Wow. That's amazing. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much, John, for sharing that with us. How do you feel now that you've shared that?
It feels good because I've never read the second one ever. The first one, I think it was once before this, and then the second one was one that I wrote probably a month ago when I found my poems from 10 years ago.
Wow. Wow.
So reading it, and just kind of reflecting back on it, even now, I can't even imagine myself being where I was before, just because I feel so much more happy. And I learned to be okay with not being okay at times.
Yeah.
And just being kind to myself when I feel like, things are going wrong. It's okay. Just take a step back. Be kind to yourself. So I really learned to really overcome all of that depression, the suicidal thoughts, and just everything. So, I wanted to share it just because I know that everyone has their own story and their own coping skills, and different things may work for others. But this is just one thing that worked for me, and I still continue to do it. And, I enjoy it just because I can keep track of how I'm feeling. It's kind of like a little journal, but in a poetry form.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, John, for sharing that. That was really beautiful. And you know what? You're right. There are so many ways that we can use, so many different options that we have for self-care, so many different options that we have to maybe occupy our time if we're feeling a little unsteady in our recovery. Maybe that means that we do need to have a schedule. If we're noticing that we're always feeling triggered or upset or sad at a certain time of day, maybe we should reflect on what's going on around that time or right before then. Maybe we do need to start writing or journaling or photography or singing or cooking or a class or joining a support group. You know, we haven't even gotten into talking about support groups and how helpful those are. Right now, everything is online. So there's so much that's out there, so many resources. Relatives, it has been such a blessing today to be here with you. And Xavier, John, I always feel blessed to be in this circle with you, sharing with our relatives. I just want to thank you both again so much. How about we do a checkout for our relatives, and I'll start. So relatives, I'm feeling emotional. I'm feeling, but in a good way, because there's just so much happening. Xavier's graduating. John's poem was amazing. I'm just thinking about that young man who wrote that poem, and then knowing who John is now, and just thinking of how much growth happened, and that's just beautiful. And you know, it makes me think of my own family and my own children and my relatives. So much growth, so it's beautiful. I'm feeling good, happy, grateful, and just excited to be here with you on Friday. I hope you all have a blessed rest of your day, and I will pass to Xavier.
Thank you, Jamie. I am feeling all the feels. So all the feels. John, thank you for sharing and bringing you into this space, being able to reflect, being able to be authentic, and allowing yourself to go there, reading your, the 2.0 for the first time, and sharing that with us. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm feeling all the feels. And I think that's just where I'm at. I'm just feeling all the feels, and grateful again, relatives, to be here with you all, to share this time, this moment, with you all, and just grateful for our amazing team, Jamie, the wisdom and the leadership that you continue to give us. Thank you much, John, for bringing yourself in, your amazing gift into this space. So, and I'll pass to John.
Yeah. I just want to thank everyone, our team here today for showing up every week for our relatives. And, thank you, relatives, for joining us weekly and just, letting us know how you're feeling. And just, we encourage the communication. And, we're always learning. Again, like what Xavier said, even though we're the expert, we're not really the expert either. We're just like you, relatives. You know, so again, we're all learning in this together. And thank you for allowing me to share my poems and stuff like that. And just, I felt very vulnerable, but I felt very safe sharing it. So thank you for providing that space. And I hope that any relatives that are out there feel the same way as well. We're here to help you. We're not here to judge you. And, we're here to heal as well. So it's a journey for not just you, relatives. It's a journey for everyone, including us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you both. Relatives, we will see you again next week, Friday, right around 4 o'clock. We ain't always on time, but we'll get there. It's okay. Okay. You will see us. We will be here. Please let your friends and family know that we're here on Fridays for Emotional Sobriety Live, talking about recovery and self-care and COVID and how we can help ourselves during this time. Don't forget that it won't be forever. Put that mental box around this time period. It will end eventually, and we will get through it. We're here for you. Let us know if you need anything. We do always add a survey to the end of our Facebook Lives. please take a few moments to fill that survey out. It's anonymous. It helps us continue to serve our Indigenous and underserved populations, especially those impacted by domestic violence, sexual assault, intimate partner violence, human trafficking, and MMIP, missing and murdered Indigenous people. And when all of our services are free, and that survey helps us continue to keep our services free for the community. Thank you so much, Chimigwech, for being here, for sharing with us, for commenting, for watching. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next week. Gegawabman.